and Amelia Hill about the fact that Millie Dowler's phone had been hacked, which outraged public opinion. I don't think voters were all that bothered about actresses and football players having their phone hacked. They get paid lots of money. But when this poor girl was murdered, that really got people going into the... And, you know, the police hadn't done much about it. And when we brought it to wider public attention, now they're trying to shoot the messenger.
But at the,
at
the end of the day, Olivia, the Met is trying to plug its own holes.
Well, exactly.
It needs to know where the info's come from, doesn't it?
Yes, but this is completely farcical. We've had full-scale coverage since August of the fact that there's been widespread corruption at the Met. Their two most senior figures have gone, and yet they start here with a paper that's exposed it. I mean, if it wasn't so depressing, it would be farcical.
Doesn't this, though, I mean, you can see the argument, can you, Michael, from an objective point of view, as saying this is within the remit of Operation Wheating. They want to find out where the leaks are coming from, where there could be any potential corruption, and to do that, they need to know who's passing on info to journalists.
There are circumstances when it is legitimate to say that information should not have come into the public domain. There was no interest in it. The newspapers or the television company behaved very badly. Clearly, this isn't one of them. It was the News of the World which was engaged in an extensive cover-up. There is a very strong suspicion, and that's putting it politely, that for whatever reason, senior officers, and indeed junior ones too, at the Met colluded with this cover-up so that people whose phones had been hacked didn't know, including the Dowler family. And now they're saying, we want to know how you did our job for us. We were meant to get this out. The police were meant to have got all this out in the open, and they didn't. We did it for them. They were embarrassed, and they're coming after us, and they shouldn't, and it won't work.
And it's a public relations disaster as well, because it just makes them look ridiculous.
Well, we'll see how the other media and the public opinion in general respond to this, but I can't believe it looks
Would you
good.
in any way give way to this? Would you and your colleagues, or I mean, however it would work in terms of liability, risk any sort of prison term?
I don't speak for the Guardian in this matter. I'm not involved in the story, but I assume the answer is no. And that we would take it all the way as far as you can go. And a young reporter a few years ago, not working for the Guardian, went all the way to the European Court, and he prevailed in the end. Journalists are here. Protecting sources is part of what we do, and it's a cant phrase, but it's in the public. If you disclose things which should be disclosed, it's in the public interest. And there's no doubt that what the Guardian did a few months ago, miserable business, bad story, but, you know, it was the right thing to do.
Miserable business indeed, Michael, so let's just cheer you up ever so slightly. Only because you're commenting in the break about Christina Hendricks.
Well, there were people watching who will say either, she's the woman from Mad Men, how could you forget her? Or they'll say, I don't watch Mad Men, who is she? Well, she's given an interview to The Guardian. I'm told it's her first. I have already ordered my copy, let's put it like that.
How to be sexy. Oh, well, there you
well, this
go.
is a woman that knows, so
well, yes,
we need to read
well,
that.
she knows. It might seem like common sense to someone who looks like that. Talking of common sense, my Express tells me how to stop heart disease, and the crucial line I see in this, Olivia, is that I need to take more exercise, eat more fruit and veg, reduce alcohol, slash saturated fat in my diet. That, it would seem to me, was already known, wasn't it?
I think it's live from the Ministry of the Extremely Obvious. It's a baffling front page, particularly when there's so much real news around, and the idea that, you know, lay off the chips and chocolate and go for a run is going to keep you healthy.
Richard Desmond, the owner of the Express, is so blatant in promoting Big Brother and all his other commercial interests in his newspapers. I can only conclude he must have, you know, bought a diet firm or something. It's a very strange lead. There you go. It's right. It's, you know, if you save a few lives among Express readers, that's a good thing, but it's hardly news.
Yeah, miracle diet. Oh, well, there you go. To the page 2 of the Express, I think we're heading to Britain's youngest rioter. Oh, here we go. It's in the very top of the picture.
Yeah, he's a little lad.
Yes.
He's a little lad of 11, and he got ticked off. He in the riots, on August the 8th. He saw the windows of a department store being smashed in Romford, which I believe it is in Essex, leaned over and nicked a £50 bin, caught by the police, who was only little short legs. And the judge said, you need to understand you can't get away with this. But 6 days later, he was arrested outside the Liberty Shopping Centre on suspicion of assault and theft. He has been remanded, and of course we do not know his name because he's too young for it to be published, which is quite right.
It's but it raises that whole question, doesn't it, as to not in that case.